talk about Hugo Broos quickly, and then we'll just round off in terms of some of the games to look forward to as far as midweek fixtures are concerned. You have some news as far as engaging with him. Just tell us about when that's happening, because that's quite going to be part of the people peppering the new Bafana coach with questions. That's happening tomorrow morning. What's your first question you're asking?
The host of the interview is Thomas, my colleague. So I'll just be there with him.
Okay.
Hugo Broos, as you know, that SABC as the partners of SAFA as well, you know.
Yes.
I remember this similar interview. Then my colleagues went to do a similar interview in Brazil.
Okay.
I think it was for Carlos Pereira at the time. Walter Mukwana the other day, we were talking about that.
Right.
So it is that because I think he's arriving tonight.
Okay.
And tomorrow, as from tomorrow, he'll be involved in a series of meetings.
Okay.
And part of those meetings are also to talk about the composition of his technical team.
Okay.
I understand that he's arriving with an assistant. He has been working in some of the smaller leagues in Europe as a head coach there.
Okay.
You must understand that when he was in Cameroon and won that AFCON title in 2017, he had the former Simba coach, Sven, who's now also coached Zambia as well, and also now is at FAS Rabat in Morocco. I remember even interviewing him at Simba in the last derby that I attended. So you can see that he doesn't just go around with any type of backroom staff or assistant coaches. If he goes and then he leaves behind people who get to assume these big jobs, so they know what they are here for. I mean, if we can come in and take a head coach, so I think people are interested to see now on the choice, because I believe that SAFA has forwarded some names for him to choose from as assistant
as a
coach.
local representation.
Yes. It was thought that the former Bafana coach was on the line to be his assistant, but I think maybe things didn't go well because they ended up releasing him from his contract.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the front runner there now automatically becomes the current under-23 head coach,
David Notwan.
David Notwan, because I think for his first few weeks they're going to work very closely. Because they are going. There's a camp. Since there's been this
extension,
this postponement of the 2022 World Cup qualifiers, it means that now under 23, I know that there's international matches that they have to play a tournament in Dubai next month. Brazil, Argentina, and South Korea. And from what I'm getting, the bulk of the Bafana squad going forward is coming from this under 23.
That makes sense. I mean, it seems like he's that kind of guy, right?
He's already said it. He's already said it. That his squad is going to be composed mainly of under 25 players. You know, when you look at the ages,
people are going to retire now, bro.
Time is up.
He shouldn't get so excited so easily.
But I think he's experienced enough.
I
spoke to a colleague, NG. It's also one of the studies I've done for Itiski for tomorrow, and he was telling me how tactically astute, but also how pragmatic in his approach he is. But just he was telling me about what kind of a person Hugo Broos is, and how he got to win that AFCON without 10 of his stars.
Yes, exactly.
You know? So I think he's an experienced coach. We will find out more from him tomorrow morning. I've dealt with him when he played against us in the AFCON qualifiers where we couldn't go to Gabon when they won the tournament. So it's going to be interesting to hear from him and what he has for us, because look, I think for me, one thing at least that makes me happy is that we're getting a coach who understands African football. You know, a coach who knows if you are going to go to Rhodes, if you are going to Cairo, if you're going to Kampala, here next to my friend here. If you are going to Ouagadougou or in Dakar, what do you need to get points? Because only points qualify you to the AFCON and the World Cup and nothing else. And I am saying this fully understanding that the national team is not development. If you want to develop, go there to the under 20 and under 23. In fact, even under 23 is too late. Go to under 17. National team is about results.
For sure.
You understand?
Simple as.
Yes.
Simple as.
For me, he has to be mindful of the fact that you don't easily discard the senior players, but how you manage them. For me, what is key about, I've been long enough in South Africa to know if the mentality is not right, it's going to have a problem. Because you're coming from Cameroon where naturally they are hard workers. They want to fight for anything. They want to market themselves to the European world. They want to go and try to better themselves. And then you have got players who are playing at Sundowns. They are quite comfortable to remain in South Africa instead of going to Europe. So they are comfortable playing in South Africa vis-a-vis going to Europe. So for me, the biggest challenge that's going to meet is going to be the psyche of the players to get these players to believe that actually they are playing for themselves to better themselves than what they are now.
Right.
If they get that attitude it's very important. 2, there has been always the announcement of youngsters and being promoted before their right time. The best way to promote the youngsters is this youngster. If you look at what is happening at Sundowns, the youngsters actually, they may look better than the senior players, but they are not displacing the senior players. They are being given an opportunity because they want to rest the senior players. They are maintaining that respect between the two. So you won't have a young player overriding the senior player or thinking is better than the senior player. That competition is healthy in the squad. The moment you promote a youngster to try and override the senior players, you're going to have a problem. If they get that balance right, you're going to have a very competitive Bafana Bafana squad. It has happened in clubs where the coach will come, they're youngsters. In my playing career, I used to have a challenge with the coach. You have lost 2-0, 3-0. And he says, you know what? We played well, we shall improve. And I'm like, it's a team talk. What do you think? I said, coach, we lost 3-0. How good did we play? And they said, no, it's a problem. Yeah, they are youngsters. I said, no. If a player is put on the first team to compete and look for 3 points, he's young in age, but not young in getting the 3 points.
Right.
So that's for me the most important mentality that I have to create. You can have a 17-year-old kid who is very mature to look for 3 points that's going to lead to the league title. Once you get that right, then you'll differentiate between the falseness of youngster and senior players. You can be young in age, but very mature on competing on the field of play.
Yeah, I think it's also important that the coach is bringing this up. I think it's about time to really refresh the national team.
Yeah.
Also have the new energies coming in. Yes, it's true what Tim is saying. Not fully agree, but yes, I agree with most of the point that he's putting out. I think there's a time where I was in the national team for 10 years, where we were being prepared for the first team. And the only players that made it to that first team, which was Stuart Buster, if I'm not mistaken, and Steve Compella was the assistant coach. So he worked with us for over like 10 years, 9 years, so if I'm not mistaken. And it's only 4 players that actually made it, that made the cut to the national team. And then the rest of the players from there, they just vanish. So the players that were there, like that, like that bulk of that squad, it was like a squad that was going to just walk through to the national team, because yes, we could see the gaps, but now how do you merge that and get them to the national team? Because they will call one player at a time, or when we play like our friendly games, it wasn't that so disciplined. But if you find a coach like this, as Tim is saying, with the Western and with the Western players, they always, when they play for the national team, they put themselves in the window. We are so comfortable to stay at home, whereby we have familiar surroundings. You don't want to get out there to be seen, because remember, this is a short career. Go out there, make your check, come back home, then maybe we can think of other things that you can do. No, this is not about a car wash. A car wash will not pay your salary, because car wash you can only go there when you have money.
You know, the DStv Premier League is a very beautiful league. So what is important at this moment in time? Go out in Europe, make the money, and then come home and retire peacefully,
right?
With respect and dignity. If you can't change that mentality, I already say the squad of 1996, the bulk of their players were in Europe. Not entirely. No, I'm saying, okay.
They moved to Europe after.
Okay, we can say that. But even when they were after that, whenever they were coming, they were coming from Europe. Not entirely that they were playing
but also we must not forget that the economical dynamics of the league were different back then.
We can agree that, but
and that's part of the problem, isn't it? Is that we've made it so comfortable.
Let's look.
For players not to move.
Because a player comes back from KV Ostende, and he comes and play here and earn 3 times what he was getting in Belgium.
I mean, there's no need for
why would you want to
a
go?
West African player or East African player doesn't have that luxury.
Yes. Yes.
Look, the most important thing is the impact of playing away from home.
Right.
What it builds into this player.
Sure.
You may not be playing week in, week out, but what you are learning in those training sessions, the mentality to withstand and compete in those conditions. When you come back home, when you come back to Bafana Bafana or the local club,
right,
the difference will always show. You are seeing that with the Pasi Tao when he comes and is putting on that Bafana squad, even when he's half fit. It shows.
Yeah, I can tell you, the next Bafana squad, the starting lineup, if it's not 50-50, it will be overseas dominated.
Do you think it's about time?
Yeah,
that I can assure you.
Yeah, it should be. I think
that I can assure you. You know, I've been watching recently. I've been watching a number of these games. I see a Luther Singh starting and chasing a Benfica or a Sporting Lisbon or a Porto, and then I'm saying, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
He plays here and is not starting.
Exactly.
You understand? I don't want to mention names. You know who's starting ahead of him. You understand?
Yeah.
And I'm saying,
how?
How? So these things, I can assure you. This I can assure you. And this thing has got nothing to do with looking at. For me, an overseas starting lineup dominated by overseas-based players, with players who are playing in the CAF Champions League, CAF Confed. That is an ideal.
For sure.
Yeah, for me,
right.
I would say if let's say on the same point that Velili just put out, I think when you have such players with that pedigree, I think with the incoming coach, it's easier for him to work with that because we deal with that mostly in the European side, where the tactical aspect comes in. It's easy for players to fall into the pattern. It will be easy for the coach to get the players in gear quickly.
He'll want those kind of players,
and
then
also
getting his ideas quicker.
And also to get players from our country to be less comfortable to be playing here. Yes, 100%. We do understand. We need players to go out, so then we can get that international experience. That's as Mr. Velili has put it. Playing in a camp in a CAF Champions League, it also opens a window for you to be scouted elsewhere. Because on those games they're widely televised. Now, when you find a player that is only going to be seen when he's playing a derby against Chiefs and Pirates, that's not enough. So go out there, put yourself on the window so that you can be a contributor to the society.
You just check from the time Sundowns started competing in the CAF Champions League tournament.
Yes.
And compare with their results today. You're gonna understand why.
There's a direct link.
Tim, go say it. Sundowns made 80 million rands from just 2 players.
Yeah.
They are sitting on top of 2-3 offers now. And on some of the players who are playing now.
And you know what is
from
interesting?
Europe.
This is what is happening. The reason why Pirate Chiefs were still the brand that they want to still believe they are is one. When you have that team playing well, every good player in this country will want to go to that club.
Yeah.
At this moment in time,
it's a market.
Every player will want to go to Sundowns.
Exactly.
Every player. Why? Because of the opportunities that are there. So that's the key. Compete at that level, you're gonna attract the best in the country.
Makes sense.
It's a CAF Champions League knockout team. What is it? Knockout stage.
Yes. Yes. That's the pedigree of the team. Last caller for the evening. Who are we speaking to?
Hello, Kamza. How are you? It's Mohamedi from Midrand.
Hey, man. How are you doing?
I'm good yourself. Good evening to your panelists there also.
How's it?
What's on your mind, bro?
I know we are rushing to watch the Cairo derby.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about the Champions League, the participation of Kaizer Chiefs and Mamelodi Sundowns. But quickly, let me just touch on the Bafana Bafana issue. I think we have the right coach. Let's just give him support. The guy is experienced, apart from being old, and the guy never worked in South Africa. He's not gonna be like
influenced by agents
and then he gets Pirates players, and there's a outcry that he's choosing quite a lot of Pirates players. Let's give Hugo Broos a chance. I know that I've been following him on a lot of interviews. He's been echoing the same thing. That the guy's experienced and he's a very good coach, and I'm saying South Africa, let's give him a chance, and I think he'll deliver.
Good.
So coming to CAF Champions League, I want to warn Kaizer Chiefs supporter. I'm a Mamelodi Sundowns supporter. I've had a couple of guys undermining Simba. I've watched all Simba games, home and away. Here's Vita and Al Ahly. Simba can play away. I've watched all Kaizer Chiefs game, local and CAF Champions League, and I'm saying to them, I don't want to say Chiefs is not matched to Simba. I don't want to undermine my home team, but I'm saying to them, they must not undermine Simba. It's a very, very good team. And for me, Simba is even better than Al Ahly at the moment. Right. So coming to Sundowns, I think Sundowns game and Al Ahly is not only going to be tactical, it's also going to be emotional.
Right.
So I've been following Pete on Twitter recently, past 2-3 days. He's been tweeting quite a lot, hour after an hour, posting pictures with your Melanie Sons and a lot of South African presenters and also Sundown supporters, that big flag that Sundown supporter did for him and all that. So I know that he's a person with mind games, and he has started with his mind games. I don't know what he's trying to achieve, but all I can say to you is that it's going to be a very emotional game in Cairo, and don't be surprised when there's tension. But I think Sundowns is going to win. I'll tell you why. The current Sundowns is not playing the same way as the Peter Sundowns.
Interesting.
In CAF Champions League.
Let's see.
The Peter Sundowns in CAF Champions League was always defensive when playing away.
Yeah.
But the Sundowns of Mangawa and Steve Kompela is offensive, home and away. And I'm looking to a very interesting game. Thanks, gentlemen. Good evening.
Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. We're going to end it with this. Mpumelelo Nyoga saying, can Zamalek win and Sundowns win? We want Pizzo at Naturina.
By the way, Pizzo Mosimane came very close to coaching Kaizer Chiefs.
If these results don't go his way, do you think it's a possibility?
I don't know. But
open your arms.
But I think for me, Pizzo still wants to be at that level that he's in now.
Right.
I don't think it's Pizzo's desire to come back home.
Yeah.
I think he will fight to be that stage, and I think there are still people who believe him in that board that he can turn things around.
Right.
Because even now, they have not lost anything. They are African champions. They have got 2 games in hand. They beat Zamalek today. They go back. They close that gap and still maintain that 2 games in hand.
Right.
So not all is lost.
Sure. Sure.
But I think in this time there's a 3 p.m. factor in the second leg. That's the 3 p.m. factor.
Right.
And Peter knows.
Yes.
That's why the first leg is important.
Okay.
He must settle the tie in the first leg. Otherwise, the 3 p.m. factor
might be
will catch up with it.
There we go. Gents, thank you so much. I think we hit 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Full time.
No
Not extra time. Calvin, that's all you, brother. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thanks to everybody who keeps the conversation going in the YouTube comment section. We really do appreciate you. Remember to subscribe, and then we'll be notified as soon as we go live or when we post stuff on our YouTube. But thank you so much to the team behind the scenes as well who made this possible. For myself, Gamzambata, and my panel, gents.
Sharp.
Catch you later.